Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pods. I am Leonardo.
Whoa! Good morning, students. And I'm Elizabeth.
Today, we are diving into something a little different, like really different.
Different good or different,
Oh, definitely different good. Today, we are exploring an essential topic for anyone looking to excel in English. All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are diving deep into how to be great in life, a path to excellence.
Ooh.
And it's interesting. This one, it lays out 10 principles to kind of help you reach your potential.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of times when we hear be great, we think like, oh gosh, like,
Right.
am I going to have to like climb Mount Everest or something?
Yeah.
But this is actually, there's some really surprising stuff in here.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not about fame or fortune or any of that. It's really about reaching what excellence means to you.
Right.
So to help us break all this down, we have our expert here who is always really good at spotting those little golden nuggets, those aha moments.
Well, I'll tell you what really stood out to me right away in this source was how it kind of flips the script on how we usually think about success.
Yeah.
Like most of us, we start with goals, right?
Yeah.
But this source is like, hold up. Before you even go there, you got to figure out your purpose first. It's like, you wouldn't build a house without a blueprint.
Right.
So why try to build a life without one? It's saying without a clear sense of purpose, you're kind of just wandering around aimlessly.
I love that. That's such a good analogy. It's like you might end up with something.
Yeah.
But is it what you actually wanted?
Exactly.
So before we even think about goals, we need to like really sit down and be like, okay, what's my point?
Right.
Like, what am I even doing here?
What makes you tick?
Yeah.
What gets you fired up in the morning?
Exactly.
And this source even gets kind of deep and asks us to think about like what legacy we want to leave behind.
Oh, wow.
Not necessarily in a like grandiose, I want to be famous way, but more like what mark do we want to make on the world? What do we want people to say about us when we're gone?
Oh, wow. Okay. Getting kind of heavy here.
Right.
But I get it. It's about connecting our actions to something bigger than ourselves.
Totally.
Okay, so I'm with you. We figure out our purpose. That's step one.
Yeah.
But how do we then like translate that purpose into like actual progress?
That's where this whole idea of setting ambitious but realistic goals comes in.
Right.
This source really stresses finding that balance between aiming high but not setting yourself up for like, a major faceplant.
Yeah.
And actually, they even bring up the SMART goal framework.
Okay, SMART goals. I've heard that term thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes all those acronyms, I don't know, it just kind of like makes my brain shut off a little bit.
Right. It can be a bit much.
So can you like break it down for me and for our listeners, like in a way that actually makes sense?
Absolutely. So the source uses this example that really clicked for me. Let's say your goal is, I want to be a better public speaker.
Okay.
A really vague goal would be something like, I want to be more confident.
Right.
A SMART goal would be, I want to join Toastmasters and deliver 3 prepared speeches in the next 6 months. You see the difference there?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right.
It goes from this kind of like vague idea to, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to measure it.
Exactly. It's concrete. It's actionable.
Yeah, so it's not just a wish.
Yeah.
It's like an actual plan.
Totally. It's turning those aspirations into actions.
I love it.
But, even with the best plans, we all hit those bumps in the road, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's where this source's take on the growth mindset gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears. I feel like growth mindset is something we hear about all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm always down to hear new perspectives on it.
Yeah, well, this source doesn't just rehash that whole failure is a learning opportunity thing.
Okay.
They actually talk about how people with a growth mindset are often more successful negotiators.
Interesting.
Because they see setbacks not as personal defeats, but as chances to learn more about, like, the other side's needs. It's like totally reframing the whole situation.
So it's not just about feeling good about failing.
Right.
It's about actually using it to your advantage.
Exactly.
I like that. I hadn't thought about it that way before.
And that mindset shift, it ties directly into the importance of continuous learning, which this source emphasizes is like non-negotiable for achieving excellence. And it doesn't have to be about, getting another degree or anything like that. It's about just staying curious and seeking out new knowledge and skills, even in unexpected places.
You know what? This actually makes me think about I've been meaning to improve my coding skills,
Yeah,
and I keep putting it off.
sure.
And, one of the things that the source mentions is prioritizing those kind of technical skills.
hmm
What are some of the ways that you stay on top of things in your field?
Well, honestly, just last week I stumbled across this online course on...
That's so cool. It's funny because sometimes it's just like you stumble across something
Yeah.
and it totally changes your perspective on things.
Oh, for sure.
It's awesome. But okay, so we've talked about continuous learning. We've talked about goals.
Right.
Let's talk about discipline.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, sometimes I struggle with that.
Yeah.
Like I have all these great intentions,
Yeah.
but actually like sticking to it, staying consistent.
hmm
What does the source say about that?
Well, the source is pretty straightforward about it. Discipline is like essential.
Okay.
But it does offer some pretty practical tips that go beyond just like, willpower.
Okay.
One thing that stood out to me was minimizing distractions.
Mm.
And they're not just talking about like turn off your phone,
Oh, right.
although that definitely helps.
Yeah.
They actually dig into how our environments are often designed to distract us.
Oh, interesting.
Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Social media apps are engineered to keep us scrolling for hours.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah, like those notifications and the infinite scroll and all that.
Exactly. So the source suggests being really intentional about designing your space,
Okay.
your routines, even like your social media feeds,
Well,
to support your goals, not sabotage them.
I mean, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's like if you're trying to eat healthy, but your pantry's full of junk food,
Right.
you're not going to get very far.
Exactly. You're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, yeah.
And the source also talks about the power of accountability partners.
Oh, interesting.
Having someone to check in with, share your progress with,
Oh.
it can make a huge difference.
Okay.
Even for me, having a colleague who's working towards similar goals really helps me stay on track.
Yeah.
We're each other's cheerleaders.
I love that.
And, a little healthy competition never hurts either.
It's like having a workout buddy, but for your goals. I like that. Okay.
Yeah. But speaking of challenges,
Yeah.
even with a support system, life throws those curveballs.
Oh, yeah.
So how does the source address dealing with setbacks and bouncing back?
That's the big question, right?
Right. Well, it talks about resilience, but again, in a way that goes deeper than those typical platitudes.
Okay.
One thing that really stood out to me was the emphasis on emotional strength. They actually suggest practices like mindfulness and meditation
Ah, interesting.
as
man.
tools for building resilience.
I've tried meditation here and there, and I'll admit sometimes it feels a little
Yeah.
woo-woo for
Yeah,
me,
sure.
but I can see how cultivating that inner calm could really help you, like,
Oh, yeah.
weather the storm when things get tough.
Absolutely. And it's not just about feeling good.
Okay.
There's actual science behind it.
Right.
Studies have shown that these practices can reduce stress hormones
Wow.
and even boost your immune system.
Okay, now that's pretty compelling.
Right.
So it's like it's not just in your head.
No, it's a real physiological change.
It's actually, like, affecting your body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually.
Interesting. Okay.
The source also emphasizes the importance of shifting from a problem-focused mindset to a solution-focused one.
Okay, how do you do that?
Well, it's about asking yourself, what can I control in this situation?
Right.
What's the next best step I can take?
Uh-huh.
Instead of getting stuck in that blame game or
Yeah.
feeling totally overwhelmed.
That reminds me of this time I was working on this big project at work,
Yeah.
and we hit this major setback.
Uh-oh.
And I was so focused on what went wrong and who messed up
Yeah.
that I was just completely paralyzed.
Right. You get stuck.
It wasn't until I was like, okay, how do we fix this?
Yeah.
That I actually started to feel empowered again.
Exactly. That sense of agency is crucial for bouncing back from anything.
Yeah.
And this all ties into the source's point about maintaining a positive outlook.
Okay.
But it's not about toxic positivity or denying that things are tough.
Right.
It's about consciously choosing where you focus your attention.
So instead of dwelling on the stuff you can't control, you look for the silver lining,
Yeah.
the lesson learned,
Yeah.
the opportunity for growth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The source even suggests keeping a wins journal
Interesting.
where you write down all the things you're proud of, no matter how small.
Okay.
It's a way to actively train your brain to look for the positive.
I like that.
And honestly, I've tried it, and it really does make a difference.
Yeah. It's easy to forget all the good stuff when you're in the thick of it.
Oh, totally. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind and forget how far you've come.
Yeah.
So having those tangible reminders of
Totally.
your own strength
Yeah.
and resilience can be really powerful.
I like that. So we've talked about this kind of like inner work,
Yeah.
the resilience, the mindset, but it makes me think about how we're not doing this alone, right?
Oh,
We've
right.
got people around us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the source also talks about the importance of strong relationships.
Yeah.
Why is that so crucial on this path to excellence?
Well, the source argues that we're social creatures by nature and that our connections with others are essential for our well-being and growth.
Hmm.
It even goes as far as to say that our relationships are the ultimate measure of our success.
Wow. Okay, that's a pretty bold statement.
Right.
So it's not just about what we achieve individually.
Yeah.
It's about the quality of those connections.
Yes,
The impact we have on the people around us.
exactly. The source highlights the importance of having a supportive network
Okay.
of people who believe in us, challenge us,
Yeah.
and help us become the best versions of ourselves.
So mentors, friends, colleagues, family,
All of them.
people who inspire us,
Yeah,
who offer different perspectives,
exactly.
and who, are there for us when we need a shoulder to cry on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the source emphasizes that building those strong relationships takes effort.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, it's about being present, listening attentively,
Uh-huh.
showing empathy,
Yeah.
and offering support without judgment.
It's like, be the kind of person
Yeah.
that you would want in your corner.
Exactly. And the source reminds us that investing in our relationships pays off in countless ways.
Okay, in what ways?
Well, it can reduce stress, increase happiness, boost creativity,
Wow.
and even extend our lifespan.
Okay, I'm sold.
Right.
Prioritizing relationships.
It's essential.
But I am curious, does the source give any specific strategies for building and maintaining those relationships?
It does. It actually provides this framework called the 4 pillars of connection.
Okay, I like it. 4 pillars.
Yeah, it suggests focusing on quality time,
Oh,
meaningful conversations, acts of service, and physical touch.
those sound like pretty solid pillars.
Right.
Break it down for me.
All right, so quality time is about being fully present with the people you care about.
Okay.
No distractions, really being there.
Put the phone away.
Exactly. Meaningful conversations are about going beyond small talk
Uh-huh.
and really connecting on a deeper level.
Yeah, again, real.
Yeah. Acts of service are about doing things for others
Okay.
to show that you care.
Yeah.
Even small gestures can make a big difference.
Right.
And physical touch is about expressing affection and connection
Okay.
through hugs, handshakes, even just a pat on the back.
Yeah.
It's about those little things.
So it's about those small everyday moments that add up.
Exactly.
I love that. I think we can all find ways to incorporate those pillars
Oh, yeah.
into our lives.
Absolutely.
But as much as we need those strong connections with others,
Yeah.
the path to excellence also requires us to go inward.
Right.
Right, to cultivate those inner qualities.
For sure.
And the source touches on some really powerful ones like humility and gratitude.
Yes. Essential qualities.
So in part 3, we're going to dive into those and wrap up with the source's final and perhaps most profound principle,
I'm excited.
leaving a lasting legacy. Okay, we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into how to be great in life, a path to excellence.
Yeah, I'm really excited to dig into these last few principles.
Me too. It feels like we're building towards something really, really profound.
Absolutely. These final principles are like the glue that holds it all together.
Yeah. Yeah, they're about those inner qualities, the stuff that makes you you.
Exactly.
So let's talk about humility and gratitude.
Okay.
These are qualities that I think sometimes get lost, especially in a culture that's so focused on,
Yeah.
achievements and promoting yourself.
It's all about the hustle.
Yeah. So what does the source say about why humility and gratitude are so important for reaching true excellence?
Well, the source argues that humility and gratitude are not about putting yourself down or anything like that.
Okay.
It's actually about expanding your perspective.
Interesting.
Humility keeps you grounded. It helps you recognize that you're always a work in progress. There's always more to learn. You're never really done.
Right.
And gratitude helps you appreciate the journey, the people who support you, the opportunities you've been given, even the challenges
Yeah.
that have made you who you are.
I love that it's about expanding your perspective, not diminishing yourself.
Exactly.
It's like instead of focusing on what you don't have, you focus on the abundance that's already there.
Totally. And the source emphasizes that these qualities aren't just like some feel-good concepts.
Right.
They actually have a real impact on your effectiveness.
Okay. How so?
Well, think about it. Humility makes you more open to feedback, more willing to collaborate, less likely to let your ego get in the way.
That makes sense.
And gratitude, that fuels your passion, your resilience, your ability to find joy, even when things are tough.
Yeah, it's like that energy that keeps you going.
Exactly.
You know, it makes me think about some of the most successful people I know. They all seem to have this quiet confidence,
Yeah.
this genuine appreciation for the people around them.
Uh-huh.
It's not about ego for them. It's about the work and the impact.
Exactly. That's a perfect example of how humility and gratitude show up in the real world.
Yeah.
It's not about being timid or shrinking back. It's about having a healthy sense of perspective and realizing that, success is a team sport.
Totally. Okay, so speaking of impact,
Yeah.
the source also talks about giving back to others.
Right.
And I'll be honest, this one surprised me a little bit
Oh, yeah.
because I thought this was a guide to personal excellence.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, wait, why are we talking about giving back?
Right.
Shouldn't we be focusing on ourselves first?
Well, the source actually flips that idea on its head.
Okay.
It argues that true greatness isn't just about personal achievement. It's about making a positive contribution to the world around you. It's about understanding that we're all interconnected
Yeah.
and that our actions have a ripple effect.
So it's not about self-sacrifice. It's about recognizing that our own well-being is tied to the well-being of everyone else.
Exactly. And the source also points out that giving back doesn't have to be this big, grand gesture.
Right.
It can be about those everyday acts of kindness and generosity.
Okay.
Like volunteering, mentoring, donating, or even just helping out a neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that it's not about waiting till you've made it to start giving back.
Right.
You can start right now.
Absolutely. And honestly, even just thinking about ways to contribute to something bigger than yourself can be really empowering.
It is. It's like it shifts your perspective.
Totally.
And makes you realize that you do have something to offer.
Exactly. And giving back isn't just something you do for others.
Right.
It's something you do for yourself, too.
Yeah.
It nourishes your soul, gives you a sense of purpose, reminds you of the abundance in your own life.
I love that. Okay. So that brings us to the final principle.
Grand finale.
Leaving a lasting legacy. This is a big one.
It is.
I've always been fascinated by this concept. It's kind of daunting, but also really inspiring.
I know, right?
So what does it actually mean to leave a lasting legacy?
Well, the source says that our legacy isn't just about what we accomplish in our own lifetimes.
Okay.
It's about the impact we have on others, the ripple effect of our actions. It's about the values we live by, the stories we share, the inspiration we spark in other people.
So it's not about building a statue of ourselves. It's about planting seeds that will keep growing even after we're gone.
Exactly. It's about thinking about what we want to be remembered for, what kind of mark we want to leave on the world.
Wow. Those are powerful questions.
Right. What stories do we want people to tell about us? What values do we want to pass on?
It really makes you think about the bigger picture.
The long game.
Yeah, and the responsibility we all have to create something meaningful.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't require some grand, heroic effort.
Right.
Our legacy is woven into the fabric of our everyday lives.
Yeah, it's about the choices we make, the way we treat each other.
Exactly. It's about how we show up in the world.
Wow, this has been an incredible deep dive.
It really has.
My brain is buzzing with new ideas.
Mine too.
And I think the key takeaway here is that excellence isn't some far-off destination.
Nope.
It's a journey we're all on.
It's about embracing those principles, those steps along the way.
Yeah.
And striving to be the best versions of ourselves, not just for us, but for the world around us.
So, dear listeners, as you go forth on your own journeys, remember this. Greatness is not a title, it's a direction.
Love that.
It's about choosing to live with purpose, embracing growth, cultivating those inner qualities that make you shine,
Yes.
and making a positive impact on the world.
And who knows, maybe someday your story will inspire others to embark on their own paths to excellence.
That's a beautiful thought to end on.
Right.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep those brains buzzing and those hearts on fire with the pursuit of excellence.